Welcome back to Video Mania 2. I'm the dude manning the counter, Duncan, and today we are going to talk about the new Speed 4K Steelbook that I got from Best Buy. And I'm going to talk about Speed a little bit and then talk about how it looks. Speed is a classic of the 1990s action film genre. Of any top 5 list, it's got to be on. I mean, it's one of the best. Up there with Passenger 57, Face Off, Under Siege, Air Force One, The Rock. You know, any of those, Speed is always amongst the conversation of that. It is excellent. Speed stars Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, and Dennis Hopper, but what a lot of people don't know, it was released by 20th Century Fox in 1994. But really, it was originally a project for Paramount, and it was going to be a vehicle for Jeff Speakman of The Perfect Weapon. It was going to be his follow-up to that. And Paramount got a new president, and he wasn't as big on the project, and he wasn't that wild about Jeff Speakman because that wasn't his discovery. So it got placed in turnaround and picked up later by Fox. According to Jeff Speakman himself, the script was excellent, and they were going to rewrite it a little bit for him, like he was going to get off the bus and use his Kenpo karate to fight some adversaries. I think that's what he said. It was along the lines of that. So it was a little bit, they were going to change it for him a little bit, but the basic premise was still there. Now, the movie is basically 3 sequences. The first one, the movie just starts right away. And first one's an elevator sequence where the villain, played by Dennis Hopper, who was awesome in this role, it was perfect for him. He has a bomb rigged to the elevator brakes and cable, and he'll blow them if he's not paid in time. And Keanu Reeves plays Jack Traven, a SWAT team agent who becomes an opponent for him, and he foils the first plan, and then the main sequence of this movie, after that is foiled, it starts right away. You're on a bus, and there's a bomb rigged to it, and once it passes 50 miles an hour, it's rigged to blow, and if it falls below 50, it explodes. So, and in LA traffic keeping above 50, good luck with that one. So that starts it off, and it's just a nonstop ride with obstacle after obstacle. And Sandra Bullock plays the passenger, Annie, who ends up by default having to drive the bus, and this is how they keep running into things. And it was, just nonstop. And this movie was made in the 90s, so very little green screen and, maybe some trick photography, but not all this CGI everywhere. Everything was very practical. Everything was real. It was shot on LA freeways at different parts. They had to keep the continuity up, so that was kind of a challenge. But it was a real movie. It wasn't just a bus and then a green room. Also, Keanu Reeves, this was a perfect role for him. It goes straight to his strengths, and he conveys his character real well. You believe he's a SWAT team guy trying to save this bus. All very believable. The thing here with this movie, too, is the stakes are there. You learn a little bit about the bus passengers, and the emotional stakes are all there. You get to know them a little bit. And Jan de Bont, who directed this, you feel a human element to it. It's not just action all the time. So this movie was very authentic, and you connected to the characters and to this premise. And you were along for the ride. Now, I will give this movie overall, because Dennis Hopper was so great and Keanu Reeves was so great, and Sandra Bullock, this was really her breakout and made her a household name. Demolition Man got her going a little bit, but Speed's what put her on the map. And I will give this movie 5 stars, because from start to finish, it never lets up. Even there's a third sequence, too, on a subway in LA. For the climactic part, it just never stops. It's like first sequence, quick break, second sequence, third break, more sequence. So, and it's at a brisk 2 hours. After that, you're like, wow, that was quite a ride. So the movie itself, 5 stars automatically. The 4K transfer is very good. There's a little bit of film grain, but not much. The artwork, fairly basic. And here you get a look at that. And here's the back. The sound is amazing. The sound transfer sounds incredible. The overall picture is the best it's ever looked. There's a little bit of grain, but I think it was an artistic choice because it was shot in the early 90s. So, you see the little bit of grain, but, it's still authentic to how it's presented. They didn't do the smoothing over and kind of gloss it, and it looks artificial. It looks like its time period. So that's an excellent job. I agree with that decision. Now, and I am definitely glad I picked it up. And compared to the original copy I once had, don't laugh, this is what I had. It still plays too, by the way. So this was quite an upgrade from what I once had. I just never did get it on DVD, so go figure. So this was definitely worth picking up, and I'm glad it is released and getting its due. That pretty much covers it for this. And it's a must-have for any collector. I mean, if you're a collector, you got to get this movie. And I also want to close out wishing a happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mothers closing out there. What did you think of Speed? Is it something you've seen? Is it up there with the 90s classics? Does it still hold up today? I think it does. So be safe and see you next time.